I haven't decided yet. We haven't decided yet.
बिहार का हो गया है, यूएसए में आने वाला है.
एक बार देख लें अमेरिका में कौन प्रेसिडेंट है, फिर देखते हैं. All right, we are now live on YouTube and we are 1 minute to go. I will spotlight the right finger. Spotlighting. My presentation is up, ready to share. And, welcome to meeting number 116 of professional speakers. And thank you, Devina, for giving me a heads up with my head inside your phone. I am the president and the presiding officer and the general evaluator for today. God, if my parents get to hear that, they'll probably give me some more work. They'll say, clearly, you're capable of handling much more. But on to the meeting. You're now inside the code of conduct of a Toastmasters meeting. As such, a few rules apply to you. I will not go into the meeting rules. I'll straight away go into the mission statement. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. With that, we will start with the first section, which I'm seriously considering we should call the zeroth section, and then move on to the first section. That is our short-term goals. I'll share my screen with you. Please confirm you are able to see the screen. Mukesh by thumbs up, and Devina has given me a thumbs up. Right, we are ready to go ahead with our first professional speaker talking about their short-term goals. Just to give you an idea, short-term goals are our measure of achievement as to what we have achieved and what we have learned from our time at professional speakers. So here we go with Honey Khanduja.
Okay, I'm quite surprised I'm the first one, but hey everyone, I'm Honey, and my short-term goal is to complete the HPL and hence my DTM award by 31st of December. And so far in the last 2 weeks, there has been no progress on it, honestly. The second one is working on my humor skills using the engaging humor path level 1, for which I have taken up a project today. So that's in progress, sort of, this particular day. And reading 2 books on the humor. I started with one, had a pause, now in a block, not able to proceed, and completing the Humor 101 course. So on and off, last 2 weeks or last 3 weeks were like quite packed, couldn't work on any of the goals. Apologies for that. I'll definitely come back by next week, and that's me. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Mukesh Thakur, and my short-term goal in terms of communication as a professional speaker is twofold. One is related to enunciation and pronunciation, and other is related to grammatical mistakes that I do while I am speaking. For this, I have in this week read at least 77 pages loudly, and I have written about 7,000 words. I have yet to measure my progress, but I will try to complete it by 15th of December. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Raj Mehta, and my short-term goals are related to my voice. That is, I want to improve my voice as well as accent. And for this, I am reading novels, and almost in a week, I read about 100 pages loudly. And other than that, my short-term goals are also to upload video. I made some videos, but somehow I myself not liking it, and I want to do it again. And regarding giving a module outside, today I shall be giving a session on mentoring for about 1 hour from 7 to 8. Please do visit and join there. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I have 4 short-term goals. The first one is to reduce the crutch words and filler sounds to less than 4 in 18-minute speeches. So far, I am progressing at an average of 1 to 2 filler sounds in 5 to 7 minutes. I, the second, perhaps I can request the host to mute the other participants. Thank you. The second goal is to have 0 grammatical errors. So far, last week, I had no reported errors from the grammarian. The third goal is to have 4 new or uncommon words or phrases in 18-minute speeches and at least one such uncommon word or phrase in a 7-minute speech. So far, I'm averaging at about 2 uncommon words or phrases in 5 to 7 minutes. We'll see how this week goes. 0D for time limits is my fourth goal, and the most recent occurrence, I exceeded my time limit by 20 seconds. Back to the presiding officer.
Good evening, everyone. My short-term goal is to prepare to deliver a keynote in District 4 on January 9, 2021. I've so far had 3 runs at the keynote speech, and it is getting better with each and every attempt. Yesterday, I gave the speech in a club in UK. So hopefully I'll be ready by the time. I'm still looking for some speaking assignments starting today itself, so that I can practice this and refine the speech even more. Thank you. With that,
Very good evening, myself Sandeep. I have 3 smart goals for this year: to have the better command on the English language by reading novels, by practicing grammar, and secondly, to practice on the impromptu speaking. The last week, I mentioned about the 80-20 principle. So the improvement which I made is to make the professional speech so that I can go give in the future meetings. Apart from that, I'm practicing on breathing exercise to make my speech flawless. That is the only improvement which I made last week. Over to you, presiding officer.
thank you, Sandeep. I would now take this opportunity to welcome our guests today. We have Ashish Varghese. He's joining us from Smart City Toastmasters in Kerala from District 121. He will also be playing the role of the grammarian. Can we ask Ashish to turn on his video so that he can be spotlighted and recognized? Otherwise, we'll just have a round of applause. Welcome, Ashish. I am happy to introduce Haritika Ahuja. She is from Turning Point Toastmasters, and she has kindly agreed to be our counter for today. And continuing the practice of getting role players from outside, we have Toastmaster Gayatri, who is our timer for today. Ashish is our grammarian, and our counter is Haritika. I would like to welcome Rubal, our Power Talk speaker, a former professional speaker, and I hope to see her back in the club in the near future. I would like to welcome Thangkopao Kangte. I hope I'm not butchering your name, but most welcome to professional speakers. Vinayak Bhardwaj, again, you're most welcome. Geeta Kashyap, and I remember that you are a Toastmaster from Indirapuram Toastmasters Club. I do remember you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for joining. What was I supposed to say now? Ever had that kind of a moment where where your mind completely runs blank, where you can't figure out what to say next, and you're fidgeting, you're nervous, you're literally the equivalent of shouting out. It is like drowning in a swimming pool because you're literally out of breath. It's You're not out of breath, you're out of words. And that is a mental block. And today we have a Toastmaster of the day who's going to help you overcome these mental blocks. To me, she is an inspiration. She is an epitome of patience. And I will let you in on a little secret. There have been times when I have deliberately tried to annoy her, but to her credit, she does not get annoyed. She does retaliate by giving me some role that I don't want in a meeting in the future, but never have I seen her getting angry. Stern, yes, angry, no. To help us overcome our mental blocks and to rid you of my presence, I will now spotlight our Toastmaster of the day. Should she be kind enough to turn on her video? Ye- I
Better.
Okay, and there you are, adding you to the spotlight. Let's welcome with a huge round of applause our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster, soon to be distinguished Toastmaster, Roli Sinha.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh. It's been strange that I have been encountering mental blocks one after another, sometimes multiple simultaneously. And today I'm talking to you about how to overcome them. I do believe that a person who has encountered a problem, has tried to overcome it, can offer better advice. At least I will be able to tell you what did not work. Our president introduced me as someone who is strict, who does not get annoyed, who tries to retaliate by putting the club president in a more difficult situation. Impossible as these kind of situations might seem to you, I believe that sometimes I've actually managed to do that. And only because I have two children, and between the two of them, I have 51 years of parenting experience, which definitely qualifies me into putting people into their place without getting annoyed and just acting stern without coming across as arrogant. I'm sure that my children would have given you a better real life picture. They're not here, so I can take advantage. Yes, a lot of us face these kind of situations in our lives when we feel stuck. We don't know what to say. We struggle for speech topics. We go to the table topics master with a smile and then a mute voice because we cannot think of what to respond now. Sometimes we're working and we've been working really hard but not getting anywhere. And we still don't know what it is that will take us across that line that we seem to have drawn out for ourselves. Mental blocks are every professional's worst nightmare, but they always pop up. Why do they do that? Because of all these emotions that we have inside us. Sometimes we care too much. We want to succeed so badly, and we are frightened. Predominantly, the fear of not being fast enough, not being good enough, not being unique enough, just not being enough is our biggest hurdle. So, what do we do? Is there anything that we can do to overcome our mental blocks? Well, I can give you a few steps. The first is go write about it. Very often we will find ourselves in a particular spot, unable to rid ourselves of the denseness of that block. Sometimes we may need to step back so that we can look at the entire picture a little clearly. Sometimes we may have to zoom in. But irrespective of what kind of a perspective alignment we are trying to achieve, it's very good to observe dispassionately and then write those observations down in a journal. Just do nothing. Sometimes just free writing is very good. When we don't try to fit ourselves into a mold, a framework, breaking out of that block is a little easier. The second thing that we can do is to move on to a point of gradual dissemination. So just tackle whatever task you have and deal with the smallest one first. You'll get a sense of achievement. You won't feel so bad about it that what do I do now? How do I proceed? And that will probably help you out. The third thing that you could do is go for a walk, change your environment, go talk to some of your friends. Don't talk to anyone at all. Just sit silently by yourself. Another thing that we can do is learn from past and new experiences. Go back in time, see what kind of experiences we've had. Maybe it will give us another sense of achievement. We achieved certain things in our lives, and that's why we are here where we are. We can learn something new, gain a new perspective, gain a new experience, and that will help us get out of this trap that we might have fallen into. Another thing that I feel I don't do enough, and I would strongly recommend, is ask for help. Just go talk to somebody. You might be able to overcome that challenge a lot easily, and it might be an opportunity for the other person to take inspiration from the fact that you came across, admitted to your vulnerability, and came across as a more human being. So, with that, let's identify what kind of blocks and frameworks that our role players today have. For that, it's a good idea to figure out what kind of a meeting structure we follow. At Professional Speakers, our meeting structure is divided into 6 segments. You already were witness to the BIS seg, which is our first segment where the members share their short-term goals and the progress that they've made during the last week. Then we are going to follow that up with the second segment, which is our professional speak, which is our a 14 to 18-minute speech that our professional speaker will share about an area of expertise that they have. The next one is the table topics, where the table topics master will invite all of you, members of the audience, including guests, to speak 1 to 2 minutes impromptu on a given topic. Followed by the Following the table topics will be the prepared speeches segment, where 2 of our members will be delivering speeches according to the project objectives that they have. After that, we will have an established speaker share some tidbits about professional speaking or their own area of expertise in our power talk. Finally, the hallmark of every Toastmasters meeting, the evaluation segment, where all of us will be involved as well in delivering evaluation to the speakers, and the general evaluator will be evaluating the entire meeting. So let's meet our role players. We already had a hint of it from our club president while he was introducing the guests. So our club president will also be serving as the general evaluator, like he told you. And in his team, there will be the timer, Toastmaster Gayatri Deshmukh, a visiting Toastmaster, another visiting Toastmaster, our counter, Toastmaster Haritika Ahuja, and our grammarian, Ashish Burgess, distinguished Toastmaster Ashish Burgess. At this point, let me invite distinguished Toastmaster Ashish to share the word of the day. Can somebody confirm that Toastmaster Ashish is in the room? Rupinder sir, I can see your lips moving, but I cannot hear.
Hello?
Ashish?
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible. You might want to speak a little bit so that all of us
Sure.
can hear you clearly.
Sure. Okay, the word of the day today is malarkey, which is a noun, which means insincere or foolish talk. An example where we can put this word is like he thinks that everything politicians say is a bunch of malarkey. So is that all? Hopefully.
Yes, it's very nice. Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Ashish. Do take this opportunity to post the word of the day in the chat so that all of us have a chance to read the pronunciations, I mean, the spelling, and get an idea of how you pronounced it and the usage. Thank you. So, like I said, all of us will also be serving as evaluators. Each one of the speeches is evaluated by all of us. So, please take the time and the opportunity that you'll be given to note down at least one commendation and one recommendation so that when the speaker calls you during the evaluation segment, you can provide your feedback and observations to them. And with this, let's move on to the professional speech segment. Our professional speaker today is distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. He's a soft skills trainer. He works with IIT. I've been told that we had this misconception that he does not work at IIT, and that misconception has been cleared. He does work with IIT, he does work at IIT, but he doesn't work in the IIT complex anymore. He's moved to the ITO and he's setting up a new office over there. No doubt that's keeping him very busy, but he's a person who is able to overcome mental blocks quite easily, I believe, because whenever he finds himself in such a situation, for example, he admitted that he could not find the topic for today's professional speech, probably because of his ill health or work pressure. But his solution was just to stop trying to find the solution. And he believes that either the solution reveals itself at the right time or the mental block itself diminishes with time. As you can see, right time is what he is thinking about. And that is why his speech is distinguished Toastmasters Raj Mehta's speech title today is The 11th Hour. Now, of course, now you must be thinking that I've said time, I've said hour, the 11th hour. Of course, I'm talking about the last moment that each one of us is treating as a way to do things that we have been so far delaying ourselves and procrastinating. But I think you'll be surprised. I don't think he's planning to talk about that last moment that each one of us dreads. But let's see what he has in store for us. Let us treat ourselves to a surprise by inviting distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta to stage. Distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta, the 11th hour. The 11th hour, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Rolly Senior. Before I start my speech, just a question from all of you. What hour in the clock is the 11th hour? Any answers? What hour in the clock is the 11th hour? Please do
Either
not
none
search
or
Google.
either none or all.
The 1 hour before the deadline.
Okay, I tell you. It is when less than 5 minutes are left to 12. Clear? When less than 5 minutes are left to 12, that particular time duration of 5 minutes is known as the 11th hour. But today I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about something which happened in my life almost 10 years back, and which taught me some lessons, and I would like to share those lessons with you all. The 11th hour, which I'm going to uh, talk today, is something where I got myself caught very badly. So badly that there was a situation that I could lose my job. But how somebody helped me out in saving not only my job, but the situation in which I had been caught. So this is 11th hour from my point of view or my experience, and not the 11th hour which you might have been hearing in the proverbial language. In 2009, from 27th March to 31st March, we had a conference, an international conference on artists. Just to give you a gist about what type of workshop it was going to be and what was going to be covered in that workshop, just look at these two pictures. These are sensors and circuits which the people were going to talk about. And it was scheduled to be held at Seminar Hall in IIT Delhi. On 28th of March, some more information about the conference. It was supposed to be attended by 500, maybe more than 500 participants and delegates from 23 countries. They were coming from 6 continents, and there were 30 speakers who were going to deliver various sessions over a period of 27 to 31st August. Sorry, 28th to 21st August, March. Not only that, the participants were who's who of the microwave field. Here, microwave is not the microwave which we use in our kitchen, but these were basically the microwave signals which are used by defense ministries in various countries. And the participants were CEOs, MDs, CTOs, CBOs, and so on and so forth. And it was going to be huge conference. A lot of people were coming from various countries, traveling by air, and lot of arrangements were required to be made. And one such arrangement which was required to be made was given to me. and that was making the conference kit ready. If it had been a small workshop, if it had been a session of 1 hour or so, it could have been done easily. I have had the experience of doing all this. But it was a huge conference where people from different countries were coming, and that too, they were excellent speakers, they were highly placed people, and I had to be very careful about arranging or the conference kits. And this conference kit was supposed to contain all these material. One welcome letter, 5 information brochures or leaflets of my organization, that is FITT. FITT stands for Foundation for Innovation and Technology Transfer. 8 information brochures and leaflets of IIT Delhi. 6 technical brochures on the conference theme. 19 published international papers. One copy of all of these was going to be put in the welcome kit. And we were supposed to prepare 500 welcome kits, and that too in different colors, because the delegations were supposed to get welcome kit of a different color, and the participants from India were supposed to get welcome kits of different color, and the speakers and conference conveners and other and his guests were supposed to get conference kit in different colors. So colors had been decided as red, yellow, and blue, and we were still working on it. That in case there is another category, we shall be having one another type of conference conference kits. So if you listen to this, we just feel that it's very easy, putting some documents in a bag and that's done. But it is not so, because everything was to be done in the proper order. And we have been working on it because getting technical papers from speakers or papers which have already been published internationally, getting that we had been working on it for about a month or so. Everything was ready, but only thing which was left was to put the things in the some bag or some some container, any kind of thing which could have accommodate all these materials. During those, okay, one more thing I have left is the detailed agenda. This detailed agenda was also in more than 4 pages. So a lot of things were required to put in the bag. During those days, we had a supplier who used to supply all the materials concerning any workshop or session or conference to IIT Delhi, and who, even if, okay, whosoever was organizing any such conference or workshop would contact that particular company, which was known as Ta Enterprises. Before I talk about Ta Enterprises, the arrangement of, I just said, the arrangement of making the conference kits ready was to me, and this was my situation. I was short of time. I was taking a lot of orders from my MD. I was rushing and contacting so many people because so many things were required to be arranged. Now, let me talk about the organization which was supplying to us all these materials, Ta Enterprises. On one day before the actual day of the conference, I received a phone call from the owner of the Ta Enterprises that he would not be able to supply the conference kits because 2 of his employees were not available. He had already taken a check of 2 lakh rupees from FITT, and all of a sudden, when he declined that he won't be able to supply the material, you just imagine what was my situation. He had put me in a situation where I was nowhere. And for about half an hour, I could not speak a single word. I was just thinking and thinking that now what will happen? Because just a day before before the actual conference, if I'm in a situation, or if anybody in a situation that the welcome kits are not coming, because we were also supposed to get some manpower help from this guy, Ta Enterprises, and who would be putting all the materials in the welcome kit. Just imagine, this was my situation. I went to my MD, and do you know what did he say? He said, Raj, I don't want to listen anything. Do not talk malarkey. At this moment, you have to take the responsibility. Either you do it or don't come to the office tomorrow. I was in a very bad shape, very bad shape of my mind. It is sort of mental block. I was not aware what I will do. I came back onto my seat, sat there for about half an hour. It didn't find any solution. Then I remember that a few days back, a lady had visited my office, and she had said that she is starting a new business of supplying office stationery, and she had requested me if I had some orders for her. I opened my drawer, picked her visiting card, and called her. When she heard that I wanted her services for arranging conference kits, she came running. And then we talked in detail. I told her this tomorrow is the conference, and so many kits are required to be arranged in different colors, and so many material in proper order is required to be put in the uh, in the conference kit, along with some writing pad and pen, etc. She said, sir, it's too short a notice. I won't be able to do it. I said, now it's up to you. Either you take it or you do not visit to my office in future. I had to use these words because I have been uh, given the same words by my MD. I know I was speaking negative, but somehow I had to manage the situation. The name of the lady was, or is, Sarika Prakash. Sarika Prakash thought for a while. She said, sir, I have not yet started my team. I am alone. I had just thought that when I will get some order, I will arrange some people and do it. I said, then do it. You are getting the order today. It's a big order. She said, okay, give me some time. She went out of my office, thought about some arrangements which she could have done, came back to me after 15 minutes and said, okay, I will do it. But I will do it for 500 rupees per kit. I had a lot of budget for the welcome kit. I said, okay, 500 rupees, okay, but you have to ensure that all the 500 kits with different colors, with all the materials must reach to me tomorrow morning by 8 a.m. If you promise me, if you assure me that you will be able to do it, take it or leave it forever. She said, okay. I arranged a check of 2 lakh rupees for giving her some payment in advance so that she could buy some material for out of that. She went away and took all the material along with her. And I was a bit relieved, but I was still under fear. I was not sure whether she would be able to do it because I had taken a risk. And if she was not able to do it, or if I get a phone call from her in the evening saying that she won't be able to do it, she is not getting people, or she's not getting the material, what will I do? Now, somehow I had taken the decision, I had put myself at risk, and I was not sure what will happen. Next morning at 8 a.m., I found her coming to my office along with 5 or 6 people, carrying lots of kids on their shoulders, all ready with different colors. Everything was so nicely arranged. Along with that, she had also arranged name tags of 500 people. And she had given me so much relief that I was feeling that as if I'm dancing. She had changed the whole scenario totally. I could not believe that there could be a person who could do such a humongous task at such a short time. And when I saw this was my situation on the first day of the conference at 8 a.m. So Sarika Prakash came to me as a savior. When the conference was over, she came to me and asked for the money. I said, I had given you the check in your name, but I shall give you a check of the total amount and you will return the advance amount to me, that is 2 lakh rupees, because we do not give orders to an individual, we give orders to a company. So please tell me what is the name of your company. She said, sir, I have not yet decided. I said, okay, put some name to your team, or and you have to form a company. It may be any type of company, it may be partnership firm, it may be a private limited company, or whatever you want to do it. She said, okay, whatever I will make the company, most likely it will be a partnership firm, and the name of the company will be the 11th hour. I really like the name because she had proved that whatever be the situation, be it even the 11th hour, a person who wants to manage something can really manage it. This is how I met my 11th hour and how we could sail through this situation. Today, the 11th hour supplies lots of things to IIT Delhi. She has grown from a few thousand company to few million company. And she is the only person nowadays who is having a sort of monopoly in supplying not only the conference materials, but any sort of material other than technical thing. She has proved to be the most trustworthy person or supplier in IIT Delhi, because whatever order she has taken, she has always completed it before the 11th hour. And still she says that she likes doing at the 11th hour. As I just said, she likes supplying the things in IIT Delhi. She owns 3 cars and a team of 38 people. She leads every order herself. Make sure that all the time quality material are supplied in time to the satisfaction of the person who has given the order, and completes every order at 11th hour. When I asked her once that why you do it only, why you do every order at 11th hour. She said, because somebody had said that in case you want to cut a tree, uh, sharpen your axe for 4 hours and then cut the tree in 5 minutes. And this is what she does. She plans everything in such a way that she is able to complete all her orders in time. My dear friends, this is my 11th hour, and this is my thank you to her for being in my life. Thank you. Over to Toastmaster of the day, Rolly Sena.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta, for a very moving and inspirational speech. The way you have overcome your mental block and converted it into a building block by just changing the whole equation of, instead of saying why it cannot happen, as to how it will happen. Thank you so much for that talk. Timer, please let me know once 1 minute is up. All of the audience members, we will maintain a 1 minute silence in which you can note down your observations and feedback that you would like to share with distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta if he chooses to invite you during the evaluation segment. Ma'am, timer, may I take your red background to assume that 1 minute is up?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. With that, we move on to our next segment, which is the table topic segment. Our table topic section will be led by our table topics master, Mukesh Thakur. Distinguished Toastmaster Mukesh Thakur comes from what he says is a lazy family of chartered accountants. But he does not feel that laziness should be applied to communication, which is why he joined Toastmasters. He's already authored a book called Guide to Financial Instruments, which was published by Taxman Publications. He's on his way to becoming a voracious reader, writer, and speaker. We've seen him shine at the district stage during the humorous speech contest. However, seems to be his favorite word, even though that's probably the worst conjunction that we can use in our evaluations, because apparently everything before that is nullified. But I asked him about mental blocks and has he ever faced them, because he certainly seems to be one person who doesn't seem to be under stress at all or facing any challenges. He said that he has faced them often. He thinks that they are chemical lochas, quite inspired by MBBS, probably. But these chemical reactions have not been able to sway him for very long. He's been working on those by using meditation as a technique to quieten his mind, rid it of negative thoughts, and proceed with his life the way he wants it. The way he wants it is to select some table topics on which you will be speaking. let me hand over the stage to distinguished Toastmaster Mukesh Thakur, our table topics master.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Rolesana. Hello, everyone. This is one of the exciting sessions that we are going to have in this meeting, where we will find whether our mental blockness comes in the way of our speaking, and whether we speak Malarkey or we speak crystal clear thoughts during our speeches. So there are only three rules. Rule number one, you have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Rule number two, I can choose anyone that has to come on the stage. And rule number three, no one will give topic to the table topics master. And that answers the question of Rupinder Singh in his last speech. So any volunteer for today? Ashish. Thank you, Ashish, for volunteering. Okay, your topic is Toastmasters Ashish. It is not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves. It is not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves, Toastmaster Ashish.
Thank you, table topic master Mukesh. Okay, so let me start by introducing myself. I am a Malayali, but in my circle, I am called as a fake Malayali because I'm born and brought up in North India. Now, fortunately, I have to relocate here in Kochi, but my hometown is in Wayanad, which is a hill station. So they call me Pahadi Mallu. Normally, Pahadi is related to the Uttarakhand, Himachal side, but I am a Pahadi Mallu down in south. So for me, mountains are not a new things. I have seen a lot of mountains physically, figuratively, literally in my life. But mountains have played a different roles in putting roadblocks in my personal life and my professional lives. First personal mountain that I have encountered was from a childhood. I was a big stutterer, and stutterer in sense because of my nervousness to speak to someone else. And most importantly, I used to be afraid of girls. So if any lady comes in front of me, I will be silent forever. And me studying in a convent school never helped me to do much better. So that mountain never crossed. I was never able to cross it. It took me literally 23 years, thanks to my ex-girlfriend who helped me cross that mountain to get over that fear of girls. But still, was not able to get over the fear of my communication and speaking to someone else. And it took me my mentor 26 years after my birth to get me over that mountain. And that was my mentor, Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza from Bangalore Toastmasters. 26 years, I couldn't cross over that mountain. But 1 year of joining Toastmasters, I won't say I was crossing over the mountain, but at least I was sitting comfortably on the top of that mountain and enjoying the view. After reaching that position, I didn't realize or didn't want to actually cross over. I was enjoying the opportunities. I was enjoying my stuttering. I was enjoying the things that I was doing wrong and up. But now I was not giving that excuse of not making communication or to speak to someone else. So that's it. Enjoy your mountains. You don't need to cross all the time. Sometimes stay up on your mountains, enjoy the view. And if the time is up, go to the beaches or different part of geographies. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Ashish. That was intriguing, and you got the topic very well. You nailed it too. Any next volunteer, or should I choose? Okay, can I ask Haritika? Okay, I cannot ask. I am telling you. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
So, are you ready?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So, your topic is Toastmaster Haritika Ahuja. Tension is what you think you should be. Relaxation is what you are. Tension is what you think you should be. Relaxation is what you are. Toastmaster Ritika Ahuja.
Yes, in my opinion, tension is what you think you should be, and relaxation is what you are. Means when you're relaxed, you are free. You do whatever you want, and when you're tense, you do what you are supposed to do. But you can't actually do what you are supposed to do at the time when you're tense. I would like to take the example. Like sometimes it happens with me that I'm totally tense. I'm so like I have to complete the task, but I cannot complete the task. Whenever I'm free, relaxed, I complete the task very much better in a better condition. So I would always be relaxed while and doing anything without any tension. I want some help. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much for attempting it. I think you got into the tension because you thought what you should be and you got tensionized. So just be what you are and you will be relaxed. Would you like to continue, Ritika?
Oh,
You can try.
not now. If someone helps me.
Sorry. Okay, so let's move ahead. Any next volunteer? Okay, DTM Rupinder Singh. So I have a very good topic for you.
I hate you.
Distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh, you cannot be lonely if you like the person you are alone with. You cannot be lonely if you like the person you are alone with. Distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh.
I recognize that this was an attempt to push me into a corner, but you've given me a topic that can be interpreted in one of two ways. The first case being whether I like to be alone with myself. The second case being whether I want to be alone with someone special. In my opinion, let me tell you, table topic master, in both the cases, I will not at all be lonely simply because I will have some good company. Let me explain with a few examples. Assuming that I am all by myself, I'm alone. But being alone and being lonely are two very different things. You can keep me in isolation, but you cannot keep my mind in isolation. My mind will think of new ideas. And before you know it, it will probably think up a speech on loneliness. And guess who's going to be my target audience the next time I talk about loneliness? Yep, the person who tried to put me in a spot. Now, if I am alone with a person who is close, who I hold very special, then in no way I'm going to be lonely since we will have each other's company. There will be a mutual exchange of ideas. And guess what? There still will be a speech about the table topic master who put me in a spot in a try to put me in a lonely situation. So whichever way you look at it, table topic master, I will never be lonely when I'm alone. Back to you.
Thank you very much, DTM
It's
Rupinder.
9 minutes already.
Yeah, so I am aware about the timing and I was about to conclude that. Thank you very much, timer of the day. So, in the interest of time, I would like to hand over the stage back to Toastmaster of the day. Thank you very much. And can we have a huge round of applause for all the three speakers? Back to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Mukesh. So this is now our moment to move to our next segment, which is the prepared speeches segment. Let me take you further. I just need to share my slide. Yes, I hope you can see it now. So in our prepared speeches segment, like I said, we invite two of our members to deliver speeches that they have prepared according to the objectives. Coincidentally, both our speakers are embarking on their paths today with their icebreakers. So timer, please note that the duration for both the speeches will be 4 to 6 minutes. Thank you. Our first speaker today is Toastmaster Sandeep Kumar. He's a goal-oriented person, and I can vouch for it because every single time we've asked him to come forward and help us out with anything, he has delivered in bucket loads. Simply because once he decides on something, he goes through with it. Very often, our mental blocks force us to think that we can't do so much. But it's not very true. We can do a lot. Whenever we think about people who have gone to the top of Mount Everest or overcome days of waking hours and delivered on projects that required complete attention, we realize that the human mind is capable of a lot more than we think it is capable of. He's working as an area sales manager with Daikin Air Conditioning, and he's been a Toastmaster for more than 4 years. When I asked him about his views on mental blocks, he believes that yes, it happens to all of us, but he feels that it implies just a lack of focus, not living in the present and thinking too much. He's faced it several times, and whenever he faces it, he prefers to turn around his focus, read for long hours, and even meditate. Meditation does seem to be the sure shot cure for a number of our Toastmasters today. I do try it sometimes. I have seen it help, and I would definitely recommend it. Let us now welcome Toastmaster Sandeep Kumar. In search of myself, in search of myself, Toastmaster Sandeep Kumar.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Life has always been a roller coaster for me till the time I got meaning of life. And that time is not fixed for everyone. For some, they finds during childhood. For some, they finds in adulthood. For some, they finds it middle age, and for some, it may take more than one birth. Born and brought up in Sonipat, I was the first child to my parents, and also naive, sporty, compassionate, and hard worker. This is my parents says. And after some years, I found the same qualities in my siblings, which gave me a thought that these are the reflection of my parents. We are blessed with a typical Haryanvi attitude, being transparent, straightforward, sporty, and fearless, but certainly not malarkey. However, there is still a culture gap between our home and state. We have improved a lot the time we have seen our culture, but carrying the same attitude makes us go fearless. On one side, I enjoyed street or indoor games, kho, gilli danda, kanche, marbles. And how many of you remember that? पोशंपा भाई पोशंपा डाकियों ने क्या किया 100 रुपए की घड़ी चुराई. Yes, Rupinder raised the hand. And when I see my daughter nowadays, even I see that I was even more blessed with such kind of games which I used to play with other children. And on the other side, during the weekends, I woke up at 4 a.m. early to try or stretch myself for sports like cricket, badminton, taekwondo, and cricket. I was thin till college time, which kept me very nervous or worried to my parents about my health. More worried about who will marry this person. But I was very strong from inside, which provide them a ray of hope that yes, it will definitely improve health. Though I have many friends in my life, some are very close and some are having a good relationship. But having a Haryanvi Jat in your friend list, it means you are truly blessed because the person will keep you motivated and makes you fearless. And I'm proud that I have one Haryanvi Jat as my close friend since the school time. Every time we all three met, our parents called Trimurti get together of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. And even today, we don't know who is Brahma, who is Vishnu, and who is Mahesh. People says, if you don't fall in love, it means you have not lived the life fully. But if your heart is not broken, it also means that you have not understood the life better. Wait, this is not only about girls. This is about the people who actually I like the most, I love the most. Indeed, it includes 2 girls and 2 of my friends as a male, which I like the most. But I kept on telling of myself, Sandeep, you have enough space for everyone. But the point was that whether space is too big or small, was not it be respected or valued. And this results is to make my good relation with certain number of people, not big one, but having the good relationship. Where there is light, there are both reflection and shadows, even dark shadows. On one side, the light reflected with strong intensity at good times, and on the other side, it brought only dark side. It happens to my life as well. It brought very dark side rather than a rainbow. I witnessed my father to attempt suicide when business was lost. I felt that pain too when a 14 years old my mother started working for first time to make our family survive. As eldest son, I carried and still carrying the bag of responsibilities, which I'm taking me to a great level, a normal person to a people's person, a normal man to a self-made man. And even today, we are so much experienced whenever any form of light comes, we just insert a prism of hope, a prism of motivation, which results into Vibgyor. It is not life which teaches everything. For something, one should make the right effort. And typical Haryanvi and effective communication is one of the terrible examples rather than tandoori chicken and beer. And I have got my language system better since I joined my Toastmasters 4 years ago, as mentioned. I married to a pretty lady 4 years ago and blessed with a baby girl 2 years ago. My roller coaster ride has become a journey, and I enjoyed the beauty of inconvenience, whether it's form of struggle, sacrifice. The time I spent with my family, with my daughter, called my old memories, and I will strive towards back into my soul, which I lost myself in handling responsibilities. Now life has converted me, has become an adventure for me. Sometimes I lose, sometimes I win, but I never stops. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sandeep Kumar, for a brilliant start to your journey. I wish you all the luck on your path, effective coaching. I'm sure that you will be able to pursue it with just the passion that you have shown in this speech. You don't stop. That is how we should probably handle all of our blogs. Let us not get stopped because of them. We can go over the wall, we can go around the wall. Let's just try to find a workaround and make sure that we continue no matter what. Madam Timer, please help me maintain 1 minute silence for our audience to write feedback for for our first prepared speaker today, Toastmaster Sandeep Kumar. Thank you, Madam Timer. It's time to hear from our second speaker of the day today. That is from the prepared speeches segment. Toastmaster Honey Khanduja is an experiential learning facilitator. She's working with Blue Sky Learning as a product lead. She is an aspiring storyteller. Outside of Toastmasters, she's a keen traveler, fitness enthusiast. I found her to be somebody who approaches things with a nice innocence and gusto. Her definition of a mental block is a situation when we find ourselves stuck and not able to move, even though there may be a lot happening around us. Her solution is to go in for a pause. Recently, she had delivered her TMOD speech, I believe. I'm not, okay. My apologies, I'm not very sure, but we heard her speak on pause, and that helps her completely pause on every front, connect back with herself, reevaluate her priorities and goals, and then move in the direction that she wants, or by simply having fun. That's her second alternative to overcoming for overcoming mental blocks. Before she embarks on her speech, which is from the Engaging Tumor Path, she'd like all of us to go to menti.com using preferably our mobile phones. She's also specified the code that we should be using in the chat window. I believe it is 68098. So before I invite Toastmaster Honey Khanduja for this speech, please do make sure that you've visited the site menti.com. Without further ado, let me invite Toastmaster Honey Khanduja. I am Toastmaster Honey Khanduja.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Okay, I hope you are there at code 68098, and the question is right here on your screen, which would be there on your screen as well on the mobile phone. So may I request you to quickly add the first word that comes to your mind for who do you think I am? More than half of the people in this room have met me more than 2 years ago. So I'm very sure they know something. Okay, Hunter Wali Parishan Atma. Okay, that was super amazing. Speaker, Alsi. Okay. So there are 2 people who have responded so far, and you can respond 3 words. You can respond more than once. But yes, I expect at least 10 responses coming across because I know at least 10 people in this room know me pretty well. Sweet, late comer. Okay, charming. More people, come on, please help me understand who do you think I am? Runner, okay. I hope it's this runner and not that runner. Okay, I can see observant, amazing trainer. Thank you so much. Quickly, one more, probably 2 more people I'm waiting for. And this is anonymous, by the way. I do not know what you are replying. So you can go ahead, talk anything. I have my guesses who's writing Parishan Atma, but I'll not point out right now. Okay, self-made, speaker, runner, observer, high attitude. Okay. And you have to be honest. I'm loving it. Even in fact, if you have some grudge with me, or even if you have some words which you think should not be shared, please go ahead. Okay. A chat says good person. You have 4 to 6 minutes. Thank you, Rupinder. So I move to the next question now, which says, who do you think I'm not? Maybe you're not very sure of, but you think that for sure she's not this. Who do you think I am not? And yes, because my dear friend has already pointed out that I have got only 4 to 6 minutes, please help me wind up on time. Otherwise, there are 2 people in the room who will be giving only 1 feedback. So please help me. Okay, mindful of time. Okay, who do you think I'm not? A sweet, oh my God. Someone who holds back. Jealous. Okay, yes, definitely I'm not jealous. Thank you. A couple of more replies. Please help me understand who do you think I am not? I mean, you can be 50% sure about it, not at all sure about it, but you think this is definitely not honey. Dishonest. Thank you. 5 people responding so far. Just 1 more response and I'll put it on a pause. And if you're still wondering why I'm talking all about, or probably I'll go to say something like, I am who I am. I'm not who do you think I am. And I do not need to be who you want me to be. I am me. Definitely, I'm not going to do that malarkey, quote, unquote. I'm definitely a story which I narrate. And many a times I'm a story which people narrate. And that's what the truth is, isn't it? I mean, whatever we are doing, whatever we are at work, but what defines us is the stories that we narrate, the stories that people narrate about us, about us. So just like if somebody is saying I'm a Pareshan Atma, I might be one, might not be one. But for those who do not know any story about me, I'll quickly start my story and end in the next 1 minute. So this is how it all started. This is me, and this is the only photograph I have of my childhood. You can probably spot one who's the most chirpy in the picture, and that's me, the youngest in the family. And that's amazingly the only photograph I have from my childhood. So I still have my doubt that I'm adopted. I still have my doubt that I'm picked from the road or something like that. My parents are still not convinced, and my parents are still not ready to answer what the truth is. So okay, so I'm not going there. From being a studious student to a scared one when I entered my 11th and 12th, to definitely a very dumb one when I was at my 13th. Yes, I did my grade 13th when I dropped a year to become an IIT engineer, which I didn't become. And then I became an biotech engineer. I had an amazing engineering time. And a biotech engineer landed in a software company who realized that software is not her cup of tea. So she quickly moved out to find her people management skills and entered into being partnered a design company. After that, she moved into an e-commerce company and then started in the product management. My Toastmaster journey has started much before. My Toastmasters, I would say the best part of my life, which I tagged to be becoming a Toastmaster, started in 2011. And probably gradually when I realized that, oh, I really enjoy speaking, I really enjoy helping people, or probably I should say serving people, that's where somewhere in 2017 I got into training. 2018, I became a product lead for a learning and development company called Blue Sky Learning, and I'm also an experiential facilitator. I'm doing a lot of exciting work about digital tools in training industry. Probably that I can experience that these are the best experiential tools in the training industry so far, and I'm loving my work. Now, definitely that's not who I am. This is what I do, or probably this is what I did in my past. And who I am is what I put after these two words. And what I choose to put after these two words right now is I am a Kaizen. I'm evolving every day, and I'm realizing that every day is giving me an opportunity to be better than yesterday. And that's the reason I call myself a Kaizen. And to me, to all my dear friends sitting in the room, friends and to be friends, I would just leave with you a message that I might not be the person you know me 3 years ago or 5 years ago. I am right now in this phase who you think you can be explored well. But if it's about you, use these two words very powerfully, because I am are the two most powerful words. Whatever you put after them defines your reality. And for me, the reality is this. So this is who I am right now. Now, if you're wondering how come this McDonald's Happy Meal toy, this is the toy I got definitely with a McDonald's Happy Meal accidentally because I was saving money in US trying to buy a $2 meal. But this is how my 2-year-old niece defined me. She called me Mai and she said, this is Mai because she's like that. To me, I'm also like that. So with more conversation coming around whenever we meet next, that's all from my side to tell you who I am. And Madam Toastmaster, the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Honey. One thing that struck me most about your speech was how you said, this is not all that I am. We have a tendency to call ourselves stuck when we are facing a mental block. But stuck is not all that we are. We're in at the brink, at a cusp, just for finding a solution. It's not the entire definition of who we are. Mental blocks are there to help us choose a new way, a different way, something that we have not explored before. Because if we just keep on doing the same things over and over again, that itself is a mental block. Madam Timer, let me know once 1 minute is up so that we can proceed to the next segment. The audience members, please, you know the drill. Go ahead, note down your observations about Toastmaster Honey Khanduja's speech. Take advantage of this 1 minute, please. Thank you. Madam Timer, it's time for our power talk. Rubal Mehta is somebody who has held us spellbound in professional speakers meetings innumerable times in the past. We haven't heard from her in a long time, and we are very eager to do so. But before I invite her to the stage, there is one request that she has for you. Please find one proper blank sheet. Um, Something like a A4 size sheet would be perfect, but whatever it is that you can manage to get your hands on, and as long as it is blank, it would be very good. Make sure that you have a pen or a pencil around you. Rubal Mehta is passionate about the practice of humanitarian architecture. Global concerns like refugee crisis, homelessness, disaster relief call out to her. And she envisions a day when these communities will be empowered towards a growth mindset by building for themselves. Rubal travels for work and enjoys exploring local cultures. She has given me the most unique answer to when was the last time or have you ever experienced a mental block? Her answer was yes, every single day since I discovered that I possess creativity. Before that, she says nothing needed to have meaning. But her answer to overcoming mental blocks is to distract herself, detach herself from whatever task she is struggling with. And then she tries to experience the best answers possible, get some ideas by not attending to the thing that is blocking her. Rubal Mehta places mental peace over everything else, and that's what she will be talking about today. Rubal Mehta It's difficult for me to not say this. I'm just going to say it. Toastmaster Rubal Mehta, early pain for a sane brain. Early pain for a sane brain. Toastmaster Rubal Mehta.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rolisana. May I please request my slide to be shared? Uh, I believe Toastmaster Mukesh Thakur is doing it. Great, thank you so much. All right, so as very beautifully introduced by Roli, the title of my presentation is, of my power talk, in fact, is Early Pain for a Sane Brain. Can you please go to the next one? So in the title, I want you to focus on the part that says sane brain. Even in my introduction, I consciously put the phrase mental peace because that's what I value most. All right. And we'll actually try to achieve a sane brain, hopefully by the end of my power talk. And if not, we'll progress a little every day. I'll tell you how we're going to do that. I hope you're interested in it. I also want to give a little background. I had a major mental block when I was contacted for a power talk. My hurdle is always what would what would I talk about? What would the title of my power talk be or my session would be? And Roli was introducing the meeting to me, and she just sent a write up which said mind block. Those words were highlighted in bold in that WhatsApp message. And her mind block actually, her mental block actually removed my mental block because it gave me a wonderful idea. As we go ahead, I'll tell you what the idea is. It's something that I have personally inculcated in my life, and it's a very recent event in my life as well. And we'll get to know more. Can we please go to the next slide? All right. So, do we all have a pen or a pencil around us? Can you all just show it? Just hold it up on your screen. All right. Next. Do we have a paper? We don't need a pile like in the image. We just need one single sheet, a blank sheet. Do we all have that? Can we just show it in our screens? Amazing. All right. All right. Great papers. All right. All right. So can we please next or click next? So a pen and a paper just gives me an idea for an exercise. So here's what we're going to do. For this session, I would personally request, with, of course, the permission of the VP Education and the President, uh, perhaps the role players can take a 10-minute break. I will review my video and pick out my R counts and my grammar and all of those mistakes. We can work on that later. I would also request the timer to not worry about the time. I am timing the session. I will not go over time, I promise. I am setting a 10-minute alarm for myself. All right, I'm going to time this exercise. It's very simple what you have to do. Do not worry about a thing. Leave everything else aside. Do not worry about your meeting role. Okay. Pick that paper, place it in front of you, pick a pen, and start writing. Just start writing. It has to be longhand writing. Okay. Like you have to write in longhand, no short forms, no pictures, clip arts, any of those emojis. Try avoiding those. I mean, you can put emojis, it's fine. But just write whatever comes to mind. Okay. When I say stop, just finish the thought that you were already writing and then stop. You can go ahead and start now. Try to finish the last thought that you're having right now. And just stop after that.
Do we have to write about early pain for the same ray? No, anything.
It's fine. We can all stop writing now. Just hold up your sheet. If you're done, just hold up your sheet, just so I know. Okay. All right. All right. Great. Great. All right. So most of you are done. Whoever's still writing, please stop. Just finish the thought and stop. Okay. Okay. This session is going to be interactive. Can we please go to the next slide? So don't hold back in saying what you want to. Just keep it short. So tell me now, anyone, how do you feel? How do you feel after writing? Whatever you may have written, it could be gibberish. It could be something like, oh no, my laptop's running out of battery. Just tell me, how do you feel?
Whatever whatever comes in the mind, it just came out, and we are feeling relaxed.
Yeah, it just came out. Oh, that's great. All right. Ashish, please go ahead.
Very relieved after writing whatever comes in the mind. You feel very relaxed
Great.
and relieved.
Thank you, Geeta. Ashish, yeah, you were saying.
I'm feeling much more screwed up now.
That's great. I'm going to take on that. That's amazing. Anyone else? I'll just take one more answer.
I feel liberated.
Amazing.
I feel
What a
pained.
beautiful feeling to put out.
I
You
feel
feel
pained.
what? Pained. Okay. All right. All right. We'll cover all of these things. Thank you for your responses. And we will actually keep the session very interactive. Don't worry about that. I'm going to speak a little less today. Okay, next slide, please. All right. I'm going to start with a story, but before that, I'm going to tell you the point of what we just did. The idea of this session is for you to just accept whatever is coming your way. Okay, like sometimes when it's peak winters and the sun is shining, have you ever just stood with your hands like that and just receive the sunlight that's coming? This gets really warm and it just feels great to just accept what's coming your way. For today, I want you to have that feeling and I want you to accept everything that's coming your way in this particular talk. Keep the judgment aside, hold on to the inhibitions that you get, hold on to the questions that you get, park them, because I will be asking you questions, because I would love to hear the concerns that you might have after what I'm about to say. But the idea was to free your mind so that you are able to accept what's coming. If the timer is worried about, oh my God, is she going to speak for 11 minutes? How do I manage the rest of the meeting time? If the grammarian is like, oh, she used this word well, but her pronunciation was so off on this one. I don't want you to have those concerns in your mind right now. If you've had the chance to write something like, my laptop's running out of battery, my kid is yelling, oh my God, how am I going to make dinner after this meeting? I just wanted you to let go of those concerns, be relaxed, and take what's coming. So just transferring your thoughts and feelings on that paper has done that. Trust me when I say this. I'll bring a short story, and the relevance of the story is that it is what triggered me to practice this habit, to inculcate this habit that I have now. We're going to come to it very soon. I believe this was last week that my manager just called me at the end of a day and he said, so you just made some 30 calls today and you were done with work? Is that what it was? Except he didn't really call me. He texted me this. So when I read something like this in that tone, even though I couldn't really hear what he said, but when I read it in the tone that just 30 calls in a day, is that what you've done and you just done? It gave me a lot of anxiety. I definitely get work anxiety whenever something like my efficiency, my sincerity, or my productivity is questioned, right? And that night became terrible for me. I was calling my friends, I called my family just to discuss, and I thought just talking about it would let it out. I slept that night. It was fine. My morning routine is that I go for a morning walk for an hour, And especially after I moved to Gangtok, the view is amazing. So the morning time is a very unwinding time for me. That particular day, even that extremely relaxing exercise did not really work for me. My anxiety was still very much there, and it was more evident after my mentor, my professional mentor, happened to call me. His name is Vinay. He's an amazing person. So Vinay called me, and I ended up ranting to him for over an hour. Our call started at 8:30. My office starts at 9:30, but till 10 a.m. I was still ranting to Vinay about what my manager has said, and just how I was feeling, the anxiety, the hey, how could he question me and all of that. And he completely empathized with me, so I was ranting even more. At the end of the call, he told me about something, um, which is something that he had talked about before as well, but I never really felt the need to actually adopt what he said. He said, Rubel, do you know about morning pages? And I said, yeah, I do. We have talked about it. And he said, have you ever done it? I said, no. So he said that if I started doing or writing morning pages every day, it would help me a lot. And perhaps I would not be ranting as much, or I wouldn't have all those thoughts running in my head as much as I did that particular day. And that brings me to this session, the relevance of everything that I've told you. I'm going to talk about morning pages. Next, please. So, for all of you who are wondering what morning pages are, it's a very simple exercise. It's exactly what we did in the beginning of the session, which is writing your conscious chain of thoughts, putting it out on paper, and that is it. There is no wrong or right or better or worse way of writing morning pages. However, there are some rules. I'm so sorry. I had actually set an alarm. Seems like I'll be going over time just by a minute. So there are some really strict rules. Next, please. Rule number one, you have to write 3 pages. 3 pages as in not 6 pages, 3 single-sided pages. Next. This the page of the size recommended is 8.5 inches by 11 inches. In simpler terms, it translates to an A4 size sheet. It's better if the sheet is blank. It's fine if it is ruled. Next. The biggest rule of writing morning pages is do not think. Like somebody was asking me a question at the end of the exercise, are we supposed to write about this? Are we supposed to write about that? No. You're supposed to write the thoughts that come to your mind. They could be the lamest thoughts. They could be extremely sad and grim. They could be so happy you cannot even, decipher like where is this excitement or happiness coming from. It could be literally anything. If you feel like, oh, I need to get vegetables from the market. Oh my God, there's a holiday. It's a dry day. How am I going to party? How am I going to enjoy? Just write all of those things. If it's something as simple as I can't find my second black sock, just write that. Just write it. That's the whole point. Next. So there are a lot of rewards to this exercise. And before I go into rewards, all right, before I go into rewards, I want to ask you all, do you think that this area of public speaking, communication, leadership, and everything else that we do in Toastmasters and everything else that you do even in your professional life, do you believe that it involves creativity? Or do you call yourself or consider yourself as creative people? Anyone?
Yes.
That's great. Anyone else?
Yes, we do.
That's great. That's great. Amazing responses. I personally believe that everything that we do is creative, even if it's something like making an Excel sheet. I literally put creativity in an Excel sheet, and I'm not bragging. Like I know I'm from an architecture background, and all of that just comes in. It's like a prerequisite of the field, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I believe and what creativity actually is that every human has the ability to create. We are born to create. So anything that's created is creative, you know. So anything that we do requires a certain creative flow. Any kind of work that you do, no matter what profession you're in, whether it's technical, whether it's something soft skills, it could be anything, but everything requires creativity. Even the way you eat food requires creativity. So the one of the biggest rewards is that it just channelizes your creative flow. It's like it just the floodgates open, and it just unlocks everything that's tangled in your brain. Next. It of course makes you more efficient because it just removes the clutter of thoughts from your head. Right? Once you're efficient and there's a better flow, you obviously become more productive. It's not just these, it's also that it gives you the will also to be more productive. Just writing morning pages just gives you that will of doing more. It gives you the power and the energy to do more. Next. Okay, so some of you might have thought that 3 pages seems like a lot, but trust me, when you actually start writing, you cannot, first of all, you cannot not write something for 3 pages. Okay, only gibberish and only lame or pointless things will not come out when you're writing for 3 pages. It's pretty long, and it's also a struggle when you start. Writing 3 pages is a task, and that is why my title says early pain, because it is a pain when you start. But once you actually start and you just keep writing, you have the most insightful realizations about yourself, about the circumstances that you're in, about the situation at hand, about how you feel, how you think. And oftentimes you get the most insightful resolutions also. Next. Of course, it leaves you with no anxiety once all of your worries have been channeled out on a piece of paper. There was this guru, um, I saw this video on Facebook some years ago. I couldn't track it back because, of course, there's a lot of videos on the internet. So this guru, he said, he asked this question: when a kid gives you a greeting card that, let's say, it says "Happy Birthday, Papa," and he has made it, maybe the spellings are not right in that card, maybe the colors are just off, the handwriting is so crooked, nothing makes sense. Okay, but when the father actually picks up the card and reads it, and it just says "Happy Birthday, Dad," why does he feel so good about it? It's of course special because it's come from his kid. But anytime we write or draw something, anything that's in our brain and our emotional state, it channelizes from us through our hands on that piece of paper. And we actually transfer our emotions on that piece of paper. So if something is made with a lot of positivity and love and care and all of that, it will reflect on that piece of paper, and the receiver will actually be able to receive it properly, and he or she will be able to feel it. The same thing, the same logic is with morning pages as well, wherein what's happening here is that all of your emotions and every thought that you have that is probably concerning you or is making you extremely happy or whatever it may be, actually whatever your state in the morning is, all of those emotions get channeled out on the piece of paper, so you're no more filled or burdened with it. Next. Just to give you a little history about morning pages. Next, please. Uh, Morning pages as a concept is based on this book called The Artist's Way. It was introduced by Julia Cameron. She's from Mexico, and it was introduced in 1992. This is the cover of the book, just in case. And I believe everyone should actually get this book. I believe there's a journaling version of the book as well, wherein it's an exercise book. I believe this is an exercise book as well. Uh, this is essentially the end of my talk. All right. I have compiled a few FAQs, but I would rather not use that. I would rather that people here right now who are listening to this just ask the question. Maybe I can answer it. I'll be very quick. any concerns or inhibitions that you have about how do we pick the morning pages, how do we go about it, why do we do it in the morning, any of those questions that you may have.
I have few questions.
So what time in the morning we should write the morning pages? Is it just after
Yeah,
getting
that's an
up from the
excellent
bed,
question.
or
That's an excellent question, actually. One very important part of writing morning pages is that it should be done first thing in the morning. So what I personally do is, I have a lot of space on my bed because I'm sleeping alone. So I just keep a diary and a pen next to me. And the moment I get up in the morning, I open my journal and I just start writing. That is the best way of doing it. That's the ideal way of doing it. The idea is that in the morning, your inhibitory and your inhibitions and your your defense mechanisms, your ego, everything is down. It's not there. Your walls are not built up right when you wake up in the morning. That is the best time to write your morning pages. If you have a morning habit, let's say opening up the curtains to the window, switching on the light. I mean, you need the light, but something like drinking a lot of water in the morning. Any of those morning habits that you have that you need to leave your bed for, do not do these before the morning pages. Do the morning pages first thing in the morning. Anyone else? Yeah, Mukesh, you were asking.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, after some time, after some days, it may be possible that the thoughts are repeating. So what we do in that cases?
That's actually good. I'll tell you why. Because morning pages are for your eyes only. Okay, they have to be secretive and they have to be really personal. If you are ever in a stage where you need to burn the morning pages just so you can maintain that secrecy, go ahead and do it, because it's just for you. You are not under any obligation to may have somebody read it, or you shouldn't be concerned about what's coming. You don't even have to refer to it later, so it really doesn't matter what comes out in morning pages. If you feel that the thoughts are getting repeated, although they won't, trust me, they won't, because every day is very different. You will have different experiences and you'll have a different state of mind every day. But even if they do, it's probably an insight for you. It's like a physical way of introspecting that your certain thoughts or certain state of mind is getting repeated. So I think it's a great study for you, probably to look into or work upon or consider or just be conscious about. Yeah.
Rubal,
Thank
I
you.
wonder whether I'll
Yeah.
be able to think. I wonder if I can think right without having a cup of tea.
I believe that's an inhibition which is just built in our mind, because I have certain morning habits as well. And that, that is the reason that my title says early pain. Like, trust me, getting this habit on is a task. Um, for the first, I've been doing it for, I think, 14, 15 days now. For the first 8, 9 days, when my mentor Vinay actually asked me, "Hey, how do you feel that you finally started?" I was like, right now is not the time for me to tell you how I feel about it, because I've just started and it feels very weird. I don't even know how I feel about it right now, because it's just a lot. Maybe
Do
1 month, 1 month from after doing it, I can be in a better state to tell exactly how I feel about it, if I see any changes in me or not. But
Okay.
even if you feel like you want to have tea and you can't think right without it, write that in your morning pages and that thought will vanish. That's the whole point.
Can we type it, or we have to write it from the hand on?
That's an amazing question. Can you just click next on the FAQ and come to the end of the slide? This question, I've actually put it in caps because it's a sin to even ask this. But it's a very relevant question in the world that we live in, which is completely, we're just surrounded by technology and all of that. No, I do not recommend. I am just somebody who's practicing it. Even Julia herself, she does not recommend writing or typing it. And she gives this beautiful example wherein she explains why we should not type it and we should write it. My argument is that is as humans, we're just losing the touch of writing with our hand, and just and because it has to be longhand, so you only have to write properly. You can't do your shorthand, you can't do tricks and all of that while writing. Julia says that while typing, we're typing really fast. So imagine going on a highway. You're going at 120 kilometers per hour. Okay. There is no way that you can stop at the exit that you're supposed to take if you're going at that speed. There is no way that you can observe the trees, the stalls on the around the highways, and anything else that's around you. But if you're going at, let's say, 80 kilometers an hour and you know where your exit is, there's a definite chance you can take that. You can stop in time. You can just take a whole view of the highway, just, sort of appreciate the other cars that are just going on the highway with you. Probably even observe the people who are sitting in the cars. You can just see the trees, the stalls, and everything else that's on the highway. You can appreciate the journey and you can successfully take your exit. So it's all about having control, and it's also about appreciating and observing what's around you. So that is the whole point of writing, and that's the only way to write your morning pages. All right, with that, I believe I should end the session. I'll be very happy to take any questions on a personal chat. Uh, yeah, and these are my sources because the content is not essentially original. It's just the experience that I wanted to share. Thank you so much for listening through it. And you can just drop in your questions on WhatsApp to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rubal Mehta, the wise, sane person. The essence of that speech for me was that we are creative people. We are born to create, but we are scared to create. Why? Because the need for certainty that we will be perfect prevents us from creating. Will I be interesting enough? Will I be funny enough? Will I impress people enough? Is the paralyzing thought that prevents me from writing the first word of my speech. But not in Toastmasters. In Toastmasters, we get a safe environment where what we have learned to fear our entire life, the fear of what will people say, is precisely the reason why we succeed, because we get to hear what people will say, what they think about our speeches, get that feedback in a non-judgmental manner so that we can come back to the stage and be better. For that, the evaluation is key. And it is my privilege to hand over the stage now to our general evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh, who will take us forward for the evaluation segment. There are a lot of things which are written over there. You can read them, you can agree with them, you can disagree with those. It doesn't really make a lot of difference to me, but what was interesting for me was the fact that he defined mental block as only a writer's block, and his solution, rather solutions in a specific order for remedying that block, was to have a bath. No, I'm sorry. Have food, have a meal, have a nap, have a shower. And lastly, what his doctor recommends to him, go for a walk. So let's hear from the evaluator, general evaluator of our meeting, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh, as to what he thinks how the meeting has been. Thank you.
Let's get Raj Mehta on stage so that he can take feedback for his professional speech.
Thank you, Rupinder Singh. DTM, the general evaluator, the 11th hour from my viewpoint. Can I request Sandeep to kindly give his feedback about my PS?
Sir, I found improvements, particularly on the presentation part, point-to-point descriptions, the confidence which you have shown initially, the knowledge and insights behind the terminology and the examples. My recommendation is someone I found that you are losing confidence when the speech was progressing at the end. And second, there was too much technical. So I would suggest that when there is a technicality, please put an analogy to relate it very well so that it forms an audience engagement also.
Thank you, Sandeep. May I request Ashish to give his feedback on my speech? Ashish Varghese.
Definitely. Yeah, Raj. So I like the story, that personal touch that you brought from your life to relate to what message you wanted to give. So that was the best thing that I liked in yours. You have a cool, calm, composed voice that doesn't put us to sleep, but still has that very wise Buddha effect that, yeah, we need to listen, that this guy is, what he's saying is going to make sense. So you can work on that voice, which will make you much more better professional speaker. So what thing that I can suggest you to improve on is the transition part in the slides. How do you match with what you're saying to what is reflecting on the slides? So it needs to be more smoother. And what you put on the slide has also needs to be value add. Just because you're putting someone dancing, that will not reflect to the emotion of dancing and at all. Sometimes it's better just to say it out other than showing it out. So if you don't add, it doesn't add value, don't add anything on the slide. Keep it minimal, speak to your heart. That's all I can tell you. So that's all from my side. Good story. Only the transition and the presentation part make it well.
Thank you, Ashish. May I request Rubal?
I'm actually going to take a reference from what Ashish said. I personally believe the slide wherein you were explaining about the event the event could have been explained in 2-3 sentences. I understand you wanted to show the gravity of how big the event was, but I did not think it needed a whole slide. Secondly, one of your filler words is so many, wherein you can just use the word many. I'm talking contextually. uh, Only many can be used where you use the word so many. That was a repetitive occurrence, so it just got observed. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. May I request Rolly Sinha?
Sure, sir. So I was happy with the detail that you had, which you complemented with the chronological structure. It made it very easy to follow without getting it overwhelming. I feel that you had opportunities to use dialogues to illustrate what had happened between you and your boss and you and Miss Sharma. Uh, those are the rest of the points have been covered. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rolly. May I request Mukesh Thakur, DTM?
Thank you very much, sir. So for me, it was a wonderful story that has some inspiration and it take away message from it. For the recommendation side, I have some recommendation. First, I found it was a bit slow. It could have been fast paced, or not only the content wise but also the delivery wise. Second thing, sometimes too much details are too much. For example, if you are saying that there are people coming from 6 continents, then there is no need to say that people will come by air traveling. So these things can be summed up in a short manner. There are some grammatical mistakes. For example, you were talking about Sarika Prakash. Sometimes you were referring her as he, or sometimes you were referring her as she. And and at one moment of time, I thought the presentation was over. After that, whatever you were speaking, I was already convinced about your message and your story. But the speech continued, and I found I found that it was overselling a bit. That's all.
Thank you, Mukesh. With this, I would like to hand over the stage to General Evaluator Rupinder Singh Reddy.
Request Sandeep, the first speaker, to please come on stage and take his feedback.
Thank you, Rupinder. Let me ask your feedback first. Rupinder.
Sandeep, I found a common pattern in your speech and in all the three speeches today, including the professional speech. Took all three speeches took too long to get to the crux of the matter. So and then in your particular case, towards the end, you decided to add some more detail, which I felt that we could have left without. Maybe if you focus your icebreaker on one particular aspect of your life, maybe professional, maybe personal, maybe educational, then you will have less data and you can expand on it more. So if you understand that when you are doing speeches, you need to go depth first. So pick up one area and go there. Do not try to cover every aspect. If you get what I'm saying.
Thank you, Rupinder. Roli, your feedback, please.
Sure, Sandeep. I really liked the highs and the lows of your emotions that you had. Your enthusiasm and engagement made it sure that I got to experience both properly. I think that you were missing eye contact in most of the places. So just try to focus on the camera.
Rubal, your feedback, please.
I actually want to say that since I'm listening to you after a long time, I found you a lot more poised. I found you more calm, and I found you taking time for showing expressions in what you were saying, which is a major growth from when I saw you last, which was a year ago. Um, and I think most of it has been covered by in what Roli said. And I also feel that in your icebreaker, you should be the hero. So probably take a little more credit for your story. I felt the build up on the friends and the people in your life, although very relevant, but it was more than your personal part of the story. Perhaps that can be worked upon. Thank you.
Thank you. Gayatri, your feedback, please.
Hi, Sandeep. My commendations and recommendations are already covered by others. But overall, I liked your presentation style. It was really amazing. I would like to commend you on your presentation style.
Thank you. Raj sir, your feedback, please.
Yeah, thank you, Sandeep. Sandeep, I found that today you are more frank in delivering this speech than I have seen you earlier anytime. The use of the words like conche, marbles, and glitter and all that, that brought me or took me to the old days when we used to play all this, and I really enjoyed the composedness in your posture. I felt, in fact, in opposition of Rupi's observation, icebreaker is to introduce oneself in all aspects. So you could have also touched on your career path, that which companies you have worked in, what you are working as, or maybe things like that. That could have added some more value to the speech. Thank you.
Okay. Haritika, your feedback, please.
Yes, being from Haryana, I could totally relate to you, your speech. I loved your speech. I loved the vocal variety you used in your speech. It was wonderful. I don't have any recommendations, but it was wonderful. Thank you. Over to you.
Okay, last one, Mukesh, your feedback.
Sandeep, there is a major improvement in your delivery. The way you are becoming natural on the stage, you are expressing both kind of expression. You are becoming humorous and as well as you are becoming emotional. So that is big breakthrough in your communication journey. I congratulate you for that. And the content-wise, I found the structure was good, even if I was confused where the speech is going. But overall, it made sense that you are communicating about yourself. You can also take this structure to the next level, and it will be a wonderful ISC speech. My recommendation is only on the grammatical parts. There are some grammatical errors. Those are repetitive, and you are improving on that too. So that's all. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you, all the evaluators, for providing me feedback. I will definitely improve on same. Over to you, general evaluators.
Request Honey Khanduja to please come on stage and take feedback for herself.
Thank you, General Evaluator. So I'll quickly start with the evaluation. I would request all of you to help me with the evaluation. Maybe we can start with Rubel.
Honey, the initial exercise was extremely interesting and engaging, which is amazing for an icebreaker because it's all about you. So, how do you engage other people? But I found it non-conclusive. Uh, so perhaps if you could loop it in the end or something. I loved the point. One thing that I want to definitely commend you on. Uh, I am are the most powerful words, and like whatever we said about you and whatever your work and all of that is not you. So these points are like big takeaways for me. Like something that you were able to actually include in your speech. So yeah, I also found you a little easygoing, which is a big compliment. And it was just better for me somehow. So I'm going to conclude with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Rubel. Can we move to Ashish? Ashish, if you have any feedback for my speech.
Okay, Hanipriya, so just a question to you. How long you been a Toastmaster?
I think quite
Honey?
a long time now, almost a
Right.
decade.
Okay, so before I give my feedback, I just want to give a caution. Please don't take what I say to your heart. If you feel happy, take it. Otherwise, let it go.
Sure.
So don't take anything against me. Okay, so let's start. So icebreaker. So icebreaker is supposed to be what we would like to know about you, and I, as a person who's meeting you first time, got to know a lot of detail about you, and not just from your side, but from everyone. So that was a good thing that I would definitely liked about it. So a wide array of opinion about who you are and the topic I am. So it has open to interpretations, and that was a good thing. But all these things going forward, but being an icebreaker, it would have been much more easier that if you spoke from your own perspective, as there are a lot of guests who don't know about you. So it would have been much more easier that you shared your opinion, who you are, and then would have taken this exercise of asking everyone else to give their opinion some other project later on. That would have been much better thing to do. Exercise was good, but not in a right contextual manner, probably not for this particular thing. And other than that, one important thing that I would definitely like to you, being an experienced Toastmaster, following the time, you took a lot of time to get to what you wanted to say at the end. So script your speech well beforehand and then come to that thing. Deliver that will be a much more expected thing from a Toastmaster. And taking all this negative aside, you had a very calm, composed, nice, cheerful voice. You work on that, keep developing your content. I think it should be one of the best things that it can happen to you.
Sure. Thank you, Ashish. Can I move next to Toastmaster Raj Mehta?
Any my recommendations have already been covered.
Okay, thank you, sir. Roli, would you like to share your feedback?
Uh, Honey, I felt that you could have asked for the feedback. That is your link prior to the meeting to save time. It would also have helped you in analyzing that feedback and looping it in, as Rubel said in your ending. The structure went back and forth about what you think, what other people think. So if you can just say, like, this is what so and so thinks, so and so thinks, so and so thinks about me, and this is what I think about myself, and that would have given a good conclusion to I am. Thank you.
Okay, okay, thank you. I still have one more feedback. Sandeep, would you like to share your feedback?
Uh, Honey, if there are two perspectives I see as a known person to you, then I found the speech was very much creative and crafted. There's so much mindful thoughts, but being as a guest, as highlighted by the Ashish, you could add some more things so that you can better introduce to audience.
Okay, cool. I take it. So, Madam Timer, would you like to share your feedback and then close it? Because I can expect a red card anytime soon.
Sure, honey. Honey, I agree with everybody what they have given their commendations and recommendations. I also felt that your speech, I mean, at least for me, it could have been better structured in context too. You asked people for feedback, and you also asked them to give their opinions about you without any kind of hung up, without any judgments. There won't be any judgments, or there won't be any it would be anonymous. But then there came some comments to which you reacted in a way, oh no, that is not true, I'm not like that. So usually, as a audience, when some speaker is asking for a comment, the sudden reaction might make me as an audience a little, make me go on the back foot. That's the only thing I felt about it. That's
Cool.
the only one thing. Otherwise, it was a very creative and very nicely done speech.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Gayatri.
much.
Thank you, Gayatri. I appreciate all the feedback so provided. And for all those who could not, please, you can drop a message on WhatsApp or on chat. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you. I will now move to the grammarian. I would request you to submit your report, please.
Thank you, General Evaluator. So this was a wonderful meeting for me, and I will not do, for me, I felt like I will be doing a malarkey in my grammarian report. For I myself had a mental block when I came to do this grammarian role itself. I've been a Toastmaster for 5 years, but fortunately, in last couple of years, I've not taken this role much. And that mental block has set in, how do I do this role now? And for me, when I started this role, it was challenging, but it became much more easier. So let me start with the word of the day usage. So it was, with my visibility of listening, I was able to hear from Raj, Mukesh, Sandeep, Hani, and myself using this word of the day. Other than that, I will be giving the good usages in general. So like there were some phrases like putting people in place without getting annoyed, dispassionately, free writing, embarking on their path, who's who, the new phrase that I learned today, 11th hour. And then we had something called as I'm the story I narrate, not what people say. Sane brain, empathizing, ranting, floodgate. So these were the few good usages and phrases that I've found out in today's meeting. Some things that we can definitely work on is like subject word agreement. There was one word called as proverbial language, which was used. It could have been proverbial in sense. In that context, it was used by Raj in proverbial sense. And I have been given some words. I have been given words by the MD. It could have been, I have been spoken the same thing by the MD. And in Sandeep's thing, there was sometimes less and a cricket, use of the articles like a, and the, that could have been much better for Sandeep. So please do note of that, using of articles. And some part in Sandeep's presentation, one thing that I would definitely like him to improve on is some of the presentations. So one part, I think he used this word called a pretty lady, but I heard it as petty lady. So that can have a different meaning in itself. So pronunciation do make sense. And that's all from my side. But before I end, as a kid growing up in a convent school, I was given the role of an English monitor from very young age. But I never knew what English monitor has to do. Only thing that I needed to do was see anyone not speaking English, I need to fine them ₹1. But right now, I'm not going to fine you, any one of you do anything, or I will ask you to pay me anything. But all that I will ask you is keep making attempt, keep making mistakes. English is not a natural language, but speak in the way you like it. In time, it will become natural. So keep using it, keep making mistakes, and have fun. Over to you, G.
May I request the counter to please deliver a report?
Yes. As an counter of the D, it was a wonderful day since there were less uses of filler words. Jolie Sinha as TMOD took used so one time. Four times, two times, and unintentionally pauses five times. Rupinder Singh, as general evaluator, didn't use any filler words. He used filler sound, like one time only. As table topic master Mukesh Thakur took used so one time, like one time. That's all for the role players. And the professional speech, Raj Mehta used but one time and three times. So two times, the three times, some one time, you know what nine. Are 10 plus times. Two times, L four times. Double crutches three times, unintentionally pause five times, and repetition one time. In the table topic session, Ashish used double crunches two times and repetition one time. I couldn't record for myself, and I didn't find any filler words and filler sound for Rupinder Singh. In the next session, prepared speeches, Sandeep Kumar used off one time, unintentionally pauses two times, and repetition one time. Honey used and then two times, so one time, the one time, three times, two times, unintentionally pauses three times, repetition two times. Rupal Mehta used but two times and four times, so five times, some three times, three times, actually two times, like four times, are 10, more than 10 times, one time, double crutches five times, unintentionally pauses one time, repetition four times. In the evaluation section, Sandeep used R two times, and Ashish used unintentional pause one time. Rupal used, one time, like one time, two times, two times. And Roli Sinha, so one time, four times. Mukesh Thakur used so one time, two times, one time, double crutches one time, unintentional pauses two times, repetition two times. Gayatri used some one two times, unintentional pause one time, repetition two times. That's all from my side. Over to you, TMOD. General evaluator, sorry. General
Thank you.
evaluator.
Thank you. And I would now request the timer to please complete her report. Timer. Gayatri, it works when you are unmuted.
Sorry. I would like to share my screen.
You have the permission to share screen.
Okay, thank you so much. Here is the timer's report. In the opening segment, presiding officer used 30 seconds against 30 seconds to 1 minute allotted to him. In both the sections, the BizSec section, which had 8 to 10 minutes allotted, took only 15 minutes. Acknowledgements of guests was 1 minute and 45 seconds. Overall, today's meeting saw a lot of red segments over there. In the TMOD segment, 1 minute 15 seconds were used against the 30 seconds to 1 minute time allotted. When it comes to TMOD introducing the theme, against 2 to 3 minutes allotted, 6 minutes were utilized. In further, the professional speech segment, TMOD again, there was 1 minute 30 seconds utilized against 1 minute allotted, and the professional speech went on for 21 minutes as opposed to 14 to 18 minutes allotted. In the table topic segment was well within the time, and prepared speeches segment, the first speaker spoke for 7 minutes and 30 seconds against 4 minutes to 6 minutes allotted. second speaker spoke for 8 minutes and 23 seconds against the 4 to 6 minutes allotted. In the Power Talk segment, TMOD took 2 minutes and 48 seconds against the 30 seconds to 1 minute allotted, and speaker took 26 minutes and 20 seconds against 8 to 10 minutes allotted. The evaluation segment was well within the time. TMOD took 2 minutes and 52 seconds against 30 seconds to 1 minute allotted. General evaluator took overall 45 seconds to introduce all the speakers for taking the evaluations and the tag team. All the evaluations were also done well within the time limit of 3 minutes to 5 minutes. And hence our grammarian's report took 3 minutes and 3 seconds. Our counters report took 3 minutes and 8 seconds. Thank you so much. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you. And I apologize personally for this meeting taking so long. We will skip the report of the general evaluator. We will straight away move into the meeting closing. I will provide feedback later to respective people. Moving on to the meeting close, let me just take feedback from the guests. So, Ashish, how did you feel about the meeting today?
So for me, this was a completely different format in itself. I have heard about this segment format from you, but experiencing it was completely different. So some things that definitely I will be looking forward to apply in my clubs, like the power talk and that this small term and the long term goal discussion. That was a good thing. And more importantly, everyone had good in short term and the long term goal. So and energy was pretty high around, even though it took a little bit extra time. But yeah, we were engrossed with the whole session. Thank you very much for inviting.
Thank you. Haritika, how did you find playing a role today here? Haritika? Okay, let's move on to Gayatri.
It was exhaustive. I mean, Rupinder had told me that it is not easy to be a timer at Professional Speakers Club, and now I know why. I did not have time to breathe at all. It's really very competitive, and today I really have a satisfaction of playing a timer. I was actually running. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity.
For what it is worth, you did a great job. Let's move on to our Power Talk speaker, Rubal.
In the interest of time, I'll keep it short and just say that I love being back. I'm so sorry for going over time.
You should join Toastmasters. Clearly, it is having an effect. Let's move on to, we have Megha. Megha, I think you joined in quite late. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I joined it quite late, so I cannot give that much of feedback, but it's always a pleasant feeling to join the club's meet. So, but what I personally feel is an energy level encountered in previous meet was higher, and it can be maintained for these meets as well. We can improve upon the energy.
Okay, thank you. And I think we are out of guests. Thank you very much. There's a session on mentoring happening immediately after this meeting at around 7 o'clock. Raj Mehta is taking that. In case you are interested, do join. At 8 o'clock, they'll feature me in some sort of a panel discussion, hoping that I will give some value add to them. I love to dash hopes that way. So thank you everyone for joining.